Hi, I'm Richard Vague. This week we have a couple of observations about Japan. Japan was noted for its extraordinary private debt boom in the late 1980s, funding massive overbuilding of real estate and causing the banking crisis in Japan in the 1990s. That brought over 20 years of private sector debt deleveraging, bringing it down from a staggering 219% in 1993 to 154% in 2015. And that created a drag on the economy that brought the lost decade, or perhaps more accurately, the lost generation of economic growth in Japan. Given that background, the percolation of private sector debt growth since 2015 has been a surprise, a pleasant surprise, and in fact, private sector debt growth has grown quite strongly since then, all the way back to 186% of GDP at the end of 2022. And that's high compared to other major economies. I mean, their deleveraging never really got them back down where other folks were, so this has taken them right back up above the peer group. The US, for example, is at 158%. The good news is this will help drive economic growth in Japan. With the first increase in private leverage in a generation, it also means it's time to start scrutinizing credit more closely. In that spirit, we have two things to look at. First, real estate and construction debt is once again at a level of the early 1990s. And given the history, that should be a cautionary note to Japan's lenders. Second, the use of credit default swaps is now trending toward the level last attained in Japan in the GFC. It's up to 14% now as compared to 20% in those problematic times. Now that's well below US credit default swap levels, which reached an astonishing 110% in 2007 and are now all the way back down to 17%, which is, kind of the neighborhood of where Japan is. But our thesis is, for this and all other key items, that it is the change in the level and the rapidity of that change, as much or more than the absolute level, that should warrant our scrutiny. And we are clearly seeing a big change here. So that's an area that should remain an analytical focus. Net, it's time to start taking a more critical look at asset quality trends in Japan, more so than at any time in over a decade. That's it for now. Thanks.